Hello folks, and welcome again to Stevie's Vinyl Cupboard. In this video I'm going to do how to make a YouTube short, or more or less how I make a YouTube short. Now you can do it in YouTube's own app, and there are other apps available where you can make YouTube shorts, but I'm going to do it on a cheap eBay computer. So let me just show you that. There's Bruno. What are you sitting on it for? I'm just keeping my arse warm. Right, so it's cheap eBay computer, cheap screen from a charity shop. Now, the context here is in a hobby area, vinyl community, music collecting. So I'm just doing shorts that I find quite cathartic, and these are either music clips or interview clips. In this case, I'm going to be doing a clip of Pete Townsend talking about the Rolling Stones rock and roll circus, and that was his idea. So let's see if I can get this screen grab software going, and we'll get going how I make a YouTube short. Right, we're off and running. So here we are, here's the context. So here's my channel, and I thought there's a couple of different video angles on the Who's performance of a quick one from Rolling Stones rock and roll circus. Now those are pretty much straight cuts from the performance, the video song. So the first one there is Her Man's Been Gone, Crying Town, Part 6, dang, dang, dang. And it was quite good to time it to get to that segment. And then I noticed there was an interview of Pete Townsend actually talking about the rock and roll circus. So I thought that would be a nice follow-up. So here's some ones of his. So I've broken those down to him talking about, it started off as a tour idea. That was part 1. I've kept the titles fairly similar, and I'll show you why I do this in the end. So I've been doing these, and I'm a little bit behind, so I really need to do one today, so I thought I'd video it. So let's go here to, I'm using an editor. So on my PC's PC editor, Windows 10 still I'm running, is running out soon. So here we are using Shotcut, which is a very old basic editor, and I'll be changing it soon. But I like this because it's very simple for a simple mind like me. And as you can see, we've got some templates here. Shorts template, PT Circus. So we've got the template set up from where it starts, where the place where I'm at. And what I'm doing is I'm deleting as I'm going. So we look at the time, I've got 11 minutes of this interview. So I'm looking for bits of interest, something that's a little bit more intelligent that people quite like to think about. So what have we got? If I just started off, you'll see that I've got the setup here.
I remember it pretty well.
I've got it in
really
editor mode.
Day. I mean, I love.
So this is Pete talking.
Michael Lindsay-Hogg, who directed it. I just love him. I've always loved him. He's all
right. Okay, so that's where we're up to in this particular interview. You'll see what else is relevant here. If I click on the interview video segment, you'll see I'm on the filters tab, and I'm on the size, position, rotate. So I've got the size of the video more or less in the middle, how I want it. And I've also jacked up the volume a bit by 6 decibels, but I've put it on not just volume gain, but a limiter, because if you look here, some of the peaks, it can go over the top here. So I've got it on limiter -5, you'll see there. And I've got it as +6 decibels, and just ignore the rest. So that's just a setup. You'll see I've got a couple of other video channels. One is my little logo that I did for the circus, because I thought doing a series would be nice.
Well.
And I've got that faded in. So on the filter, you see that's, again, size. Let's click on that. You see there's size there, and it's fade in, fade out video, and then you just extend it to where you want to go, under a minute. And then I've got my trusty little logo there, so let's come out of there. So we're on the video, and what I'm going to do now is just show you the process, how I make that video. I think there's a subject in here for the next one, but I think we're going to have to listen to about 1.5 minutes. So let's just concentrate and listen. What's going to be happening.
I remember it pretty well. It was a really exciting day. I mean, I love Michael Lindsay-Hogg, who directed it. I just love him. I've always loved him. He's always been such a great...
So this could be about Lindsay-Hogg, the director. Looks like a sort of mate of Pete's there, talking about him. Or is he going to talk about him?
Of my work, but he also made what I think was the first definitive pop video for The Who called Happy Jack, which had a story.
So there's a story in there about the first video. Lindsay-Hogg, maybe?
Possibly one of the first of its type. The way that Mick had put the band together was...
So there's a difference in subject there at 23 seconds in. So I don't think we're going to have... It's going to be about Lindsay-Hogg, right?
The way that Mick had put the band together was... had put the
And this is the thing about, if you're doing this short on Pete Townsend, he's like umming and ahhing forever, so we're going to cut all that out.
Guests together. It wasn't just about music that he liked, it was about people that he wanted to spend the day with, to some extent. So I felt flattered that we were invited. Taj Mahal, Mick and I were both huge fans of.
Right, so it's about, this is going to be about maybe the people that were invited.
Just discovered his music around that time.
Taj Mahal.
So I was glad that he was on.
Good performance.
I actually love the bit where most people don't like it because they don't understand Yoko, but I love the bit where, you know, they're doing the, you know, the I can't remember what the band was called, the band with Lennon and Eric.
What was the band called? Actually, I'll put a bit of text
she
on.
She starts to wail. You know, it's just...
It's talking about Yoko.
There's a kind of an irony in it. You know, there really is an irony in it. You know, what do we have today? We don't have Yoko, but we actually have the darkness. You know, it's roughly the same thing, really, except that, you know, that Yoko has a brain, and what, you know, what the darkness have is spandex trousers, you know, and an incredibly arch and astute sense of show business marketing.
Right, so there's a little edit there, right? So you see where it goes dark and it...
I had a chat with her that day. I'm talking to her because she'd been involved with Gustav Metzger. She created around the year before something called the Symposium for Destruction in Art.
So I'm thinking, that first one, what on earth is it about?
I had a chat with her that day.
So that's come to a minute and 39. Now remember, we've got 23 seconds to take off. So a minute 10, there's a lot of prevaricating. So, but then that's about kind of Yoko and the darkness. So it might pass as a short. Would that be interesting? But I'm just going to go next. So I'm at the 1:40 mark.
I had a chat with her that day. I remember talking to her because she'd been involved with Gustav Metzger. She created around the year before something called the Symposium for Destruction in Art. And with Gustav Metzger and a couple of other people, I can't remember, but she was very important in that kind of area for me. You know, this is my post-art school stuff. And hearing her kind of wailing away, you know, I thought, that's, you know, that's Eric Clapton and John Lennon together, and she's wailing. It was just, it's great in a way. Only she could get away with it. Oh, Marianne was great too.
You know, so that's a bit about Yoko, and then he goes into
Marianne was great too. I think Marianne was great because at that time we hadn't really realised what teeth this girl had. You know, we just thought we'd done some shows with her.
Right. Okay. So that first bit, is it really interesting enough? I might just listen to that again. I'll just cut this out of the video. Tell you what I've decided.
I remember it pretty well. It was a really exciting day.
Right, okay, so basically what I've got is I've got a first 50 seconds of him talking about who was on. But he's doing it in a very bambling way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a short about that, and then the next one I'm going to talk about Yoko. Right, so we're up to 50 seconds. Yeah, so what I'll do here, I'll come to the end of this bit.
Around that time. So I was glad that he was on. I actually love the bit.
Because if you start off from where we were, saying, oh, I actually laughed a bit, blah, 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 Yoko, and then it goes into Yoko, it's not going to make sense in the progression of things. Okay, so we're going to do two shorts here. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to leave the end bit to take off at the end. So let's tidy this up.
I remember it pretty well.
So we're going to just jump through some frames, and you see it coming on there. So bang, let's make a cut. So let's tidy, what I'm going to do is just tidy this up. There's a lot of prevaricating.
I remember it pretty well. It was a really exciting day. I mean, I love Michael Lindsay-Hogg.
I don't need the ers, so I love
I remember it pretty well. It was a really exciting day. I mean, I love Michael Lindsay-Hogg, who directed it. I just love him. I've always
see the prevarication is gone.
loved him. He's always been such a great supporter of my work. But he also made what I think was the first definitive pop video for The Who called Happy Jack, which had a story, and possibly one of the first of its type. The way that Mick had...
So here I just want to shorten this bit. So it's Lindsay-Hogg going into Mick. So let's just... So we're going to overlap
the way
those.
that Mick had put the band together was... had put the guests together. It wasn't just about music.
Right, so guests together. So the way that Mick had put...
was... had put the guests together.
Right, so I think we can just put the guest together.
The guests together. It wasn't just about me.
So leave a little bit of a gap there, and then he comes off that breath. So there.
Put the guests together. It wasn't just about music that he liked, it was about people that he wanted to spend the day with to some extent. So I felt flattered that we were invited. Taj Mahal, Mick and I were both huge fans of. We just discovered his music around that time. So I was glad that he was on.
So is that good enough for a short? Because after that he then goes into Yoko.
I actually love the bit where most people don't like it because they don't understand Yoko, but I love the bit where, they're doing the I can't remember what the band was called, the band with Lennon and Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to wail. It's just... Because
I think that's going to be good to go on to the next one. So I'm not sure if that's a good enough short, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do that. This is a very short, so I'm then going to bring that down. Bring that down to... so we've got a short, 44 seconds. So what I'll do now is I'll go to export. You've got like a handy YouTube feature there. Export that. We'll go to our file where they all are, and we're going to part 6. I'm not sure what on earth we'll call this one, but yeah, so they're like bang, save, and then we'll come back, and normally you see it will go up here, and we'll come back when that's done. Okay, so that's the first one done, part 6. Now I'll think of a title later, but I don't think it's going to be a very good short, but let's keep it in because it keeps everything in context. And let's go after that Yoko video. Right, so we go back to our screen capture. Let's get this up now. As you can see, where have I got? So I've got this, the one I've just done, and as you can see, that there at the bottom, that's the video. So we've got to get rid of that, and that's our remaining pieces of the video there. So we just click on the segments, and we'll get our next one shunted up. Right, so we need to, now you can either work from the beginning, let's have a look through and then find an endpoint, or you can find the endpoint and then see how much you've got to cut. Now we know this goes over a minute. We'll just have a little reminder at the start.
I actually love the bit where most people don't like it because they don't understand Yoko, but I love...
Right, so this is Yoko, but he's also talking about the darkness, and I don't think that's going to fit. So let's go and find this endpoint if I can remember what it looks like, because it goes from Yoko into Marianne Faithfull, which I think will be the next
It's
one.
great in a way. Only she could get away with it. Oh, Marianne was great too. I think Marianne was great because at that time we hadn't really...
So he talks for about a good chunk here about Marianne Faithfull, and that is definitely going to be the next one after this. So, but what I've got is my endpoint at 1 minute. We look over here, 1 minute 25. How long was he talking about the darkness? Let's just cut that out because it's not really time sensitive.
Only she could get away with it. Oh, Marianne.
Yeah, so he goes quite quickly from only she could get away with it to Marianne. So we want to be a little bit careful when we cut this off.
Only she could get away with it.
Yep. And he's got that big smile on his face. That's good. Right, so we'll put an endpoint there. Okay, so all we're going to do now is to cut this front chunk off. Now what I normally do is I saved, I'll go to the top here because I've cut the other one off. I'll go save. So that's my template saved, and I'll save it again when I've finished. So now we're going to listen through, and we're just going to get an indication of how big that chunk is we need to cut out. So let's get our endpoint into view. There we are. Always be conscious of a minute. A good tip here is you don't want it a minute because sometimes for some reason YouTube takes it over a minute, puts it on as a large video. Even ones that are 59 seconds. So you want it 59 seconds or just slightly under. Bit of a tip there. Crap YouTube. All right, so let's just have a look. Let's go seek Yoko. I know the title for this already. It's going to be Pete Townsend Rock and Roll Yoko. And I think this one will get good views. Who doesn't like a bit of Yoko?
I actually love the bit where most people don't like it because they don't understand Yoko, but I love the bit where, you know, they're doing the, you know, the
Prevarication.
I can't remember what the band was called. The band with Lennon and
right. So that guy, the band with Lennon.
Can't remember what the band was called. The band with Lennon and Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to wail.
Dirty
you know,
Man.
it's just there's a kind of an irony in it. You know, there really is an irony in it. You know, what do we have today? We don't have Yoko, but we actually have.
So this irony bit, I don't think we need that, but I just want to tidy up this early bit.
Don't understand Yoko, but I love the bit where, you know, they're doing the, you know, the I can't remember what the band was called. The band with Lennon and Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to...
Right, so
can't remember what the band was called.
Right, just large this out a bit. I'll go there.
But I love the bit where, you know, they're
just try that because we can save a a good 5 seconds of bumbling there.
Understand Yoko, but I love the bit where I can't remember what the band was called. The
Works.
band with Lennon and Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to wail. You know, it's just there's a kind of an irony in it. You know, there really is an irony in it. You know, what do we have today? We don't have Yoko, but we actually have the darkness. You know, it's roughly the same thing, really, except that, you know, that Yoko has a brain, and what, you know, what the darkness have is spandex trousers, you know, and an incredibly arch and astute sense of show business marketing. I had a chat with her that day. I remember.
Yeah, so I had a chat with her that day. Let's just because that takes us up to the end. So what are we sitting at? We're sitting at 1 minute 20, right? And that cut is at 43, and it's all the way down to 17 seconds. So what's that? So 20. So that could be the whole 20 seconds, really. Just going to rerun this bit.
I don't understand Yoko, but I love the bit where I can't remember what the band was called. The band with Lennon and Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to wail. You know, it's just. Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to wail. You know. It's just.
So it's just what? So this is a difficult cut because
you know, it's just.
I think I'll leave the you know. So we are coming down to frames here. Right, you see there the volume goes up, bang bang.
It's just. There's a kind of an irony in it.
You know, yeah. So I'm not really interested in that irony bit segment because this is not about, no offense to the darkness, Mr. What's his name. So I'm just trying to focus in on the Yoko. We'll put that there, and it's, you know, just over 50 seconds now. So we need to just tart this up. So it'll be another little shorter slide. Now this bit is not going to work because there's a bit of an awkward cut here. So I think we'll just go halfway, meet you halfway. That should be.
To wail. I had a chat with her that day. I remember talking to her because she'd been involved with Gustav Metzger. She created around the year before something called the.
Right, and then we just get to the end. See, there's quite a lot of ums and ahs in there because it's short. I don't think we need to bother. Right, so we get this other one. So what I'm going to do is do this last thing. Right, so there we are. So what I'll do is I'll save this now, and then I'll delete the next bit that goes into Merry and Faithful, and there we are. So now normally I'd play this through, but I think I'm pretty happy there's only that one sort of cut. So you know, click on YouTube, export, and that's part 7. And click on that. So that then would now take about, I don't know, 4 minutes. Let's come back and see what we've got there. Okay, so that's the 2 shorts done. Let's have a look at them and let's upload them and decide some titles. So let's go back to the screen share. Right, let's get up our file. So here we go, we've got part 6, part 7. So let's have a listen to them first and think of a title. Okay, so here's part 6.
I remember it pretty well. It was a really exciting day. I mean, I love Michael Lindsay-Hogg, who directed it. I just love him. I've always loved him. He's always been such a great supporter of my work. But he also made what I think was the first definitive pop video for The Who called Happy Jack, which had a story, and possibly one of the first of its type. The way that Mick had put the band together was, had put the guests together. It wasn't just about music that he liked, it was about people that he wanted to spend the day with to some extent. So I felt flattered that we were invited. Taj Mahal, Mick and I were both huge fans of. We just discovered his music around that time. So I was glad that he was on.
Okay, so that's number 6. Okay, so part 7.
I actually love the bit where most people don't like it because they don't understand Yoko, but I love the bit where, I can't remember what the band was called, the band with Lennon and Eric and Yoko in it, and she starts to wail. I had a chat with her that day. I remember
Yoko
talking
wailing
to her because she'd been involved with Gustav Metzger. She created around the year before something called the Symposium for Destruction and Art, and with Gustav Metzger and a couple of other people I can't remember, but she was very important in that kind of area for me. This by post-art school stuff, and hearing her kind of wailing away, I thought, that's Eric Clapton and John Lennon together, and she's wailing. It was just it's great in a way. Only she could get away with it.
So what should we call the Yoko one? Okay, well, let's upload these. So I've got my channel content page. I've already uploaded the first one. I'll show you what I've called that. So upload videos. So we go to part 7. Now I've got a template from the old Tommy documentary I did way back, but I found actually it's just preferable. So I've uploaded, you reuse the details from the last one. You see the last one I've called Lindsay-Hogg and Mick, and that's what I'm going to call this. And this one, I think I could call it Yoko wailing, but I'm just going to call it Yoko. Right, part 7. So that's uploaded. So we've got a description. I keep the description quite brief. I like to put a bit informative if somebody wants to have a look. There's the groups listed there. So 2 playlists, I've got it on, that's Shorts and The Who, which are more or less the same. Not made for kids. So just go through altered content. I haven't altered it. I've cut a bit out and shortened it a bit, but I haven't altered it. I don't really go with automatic places. Concepts, why not? And the tags are not so important, but they do have, if somebody's watched one and the tags are the same, it will help them find the next one. And I've actually put Lindsay-Hogg. I do put the odd different ones. See, we've got a little bit of space there, so I'm just going to put Yoko. Why not? Just so it's a little bit different. Allow embedding, yes. Publish to subscription feed, no, never do this. It peeves people off. Audio remixing, off we go. Video elements, couldn't be bothered. There's no music on this, so we're fine. It's quite interesting on the last one whether it chose The Kids All Right or Rock and Roll Circus. So we'll schedule that. Now I've got this one on today. I mean the Lindsay-Hogg Mick one on today, which I don't think is going to do very well. So I think I'll have this one, schedule it for Friday, see how it does. So that's on for tomorrow. As it's The Who, I'll put it at 5:15. I'll put it 5:30 in the evening and schedule. And we'll come back and have a look and see how those have done in a day or so. Or well, the first one I won't, because I'll put this out Saturday, I think, so that you can keep an eye on the Yoko one yourself. Okay, so that's done. Close, and there we are. We're scheduled. I'm still tempted to call it Yoko wailing. Okay, so it's a quick update. It's a day later, and what do I know? Look, it's got 9,000 views and 3 subscribers. Thank you very much. If you are subscribed, folks, could you please click the alert button? I hope you found that informative, and thanks for watching. Cheers.